All right, let's just mute that. Don't want anything to interrupt. Right, okay. Uh, hey, W here. Welcome to my workshop. If you've been around here, watched some of my other videos, maybe you will have noticed that there's some music stuff going on. I have some instruments which I also play badly, but I enjoy it a lot. And I've been working on building out my little music corner where I have sort of space for all that stuff. And the latest addition to that corner is a little MIDI controller, one of these tiny little keyboard thingies. And in order for that to work, or in order for me to work with that in that music corner that I've set up, I need to lift my laptop a little bit. So I'm going to build just a completely simple like stand or a riser to put my laptop on. That's what today's video is. So yeah, let's just dive right in. All right, so I'm going to keep this project extremely simple. It's going to be cheap, dirty, easy. I had wood already, these pieces of wood I had lying around, and I'm basically going to just use them. I think there's going to be enough. And the way I'm going to do it is a simple construction. I didn't even make a drawing. I have it in my head. I just have some dimensions. And basically, I'm going to raise the laptop about 80 millimeters. Or I'm going to put it at 80 millimeters off the table, so roughly 3 inches. And I'm going to do the vertical bits is going to be the thick one here. It's not that heavy, but since I have a thicker gauge, I'm going to use that for the vertical parts. And then the basically is going to be like vertical part, horizontal part, and then one on the other end too. So I need 4 pieces of this to make 2 rectangles. I need 4 pieces of this and 4 pieces of this in the right dimensions. And to get the 80 millimeters height, well, it's going to be like, the construction is going to be like that. So it's going to stand, it's going to be on the inside. So it's going to be 2 layers of this, 1 layer in each end, and then a length of this, which equals 80 millimeters put together. So I'm basically just going to measure these two. Oops. Got these two. Say 16 millimeters, just under 16 millimeters, but that's fine. 16 millimeters up to 80. That's 16. That's 4. That's 20. That's 64 millimeters. So I need 4 64 millimeter pieces of this. But before I start measuring and cutting anything, I'm just going to make sure that it's square, that I start with one end square. I'm just going to do that first. It's definitely not square. Okay, so it turns out that my cutting block is nowhere near square. Alright, so this thing turned out to be not square at all, and I couldn't get there. I don't know. So I just went off for a little bit and deployed the 3D printer. And that one actually goes out. And I did this. And now I'm going to test it. So let's see. It's square. Check this out. Square, square. Okay, well, I'm going to start cutting my pieces then. I'm going to do, like I said in the previous video before everything went sideways. I said I was going to make a couple of pieces of this, which are 64 millimeters.
So these are my 4 riser pieces, if you will. And now I'm going to need 4 pieces of this. Those pieces have to be 150 millimeters. So that's 1, there's more than enough in this piece. That is it. So now these pieces go together in a couple of little frame things like so. That's it. And then I'm going to connect 2 of them and then connect them and I'm done. It's a small project, obviously. So I don't know, this seems kind of small for a whole laptop, but I promise you it's big enough. So that's all. That's basically what I'm going to do now. I think I'll just do like this on one of them. I'll do like that. And like that. There we are. So I have sort of a middle here where I'm going to put the screw hole. And something to drill into, because I don't actually drill into my nice tabletop. And now I have to decide on a screw size. And I think this will do nicely. Something like that. I think that's more than enough. Is it overkill even? Is this? I think it's overkill. I think I'm going to do this one. Right, cool. So that is a 3.5 millimeter screw. And the screws 3.5, so I need a 4 millimeter drill. 4 is there. Actually, I'm going to need something else from in here as well. Countersink. So I'm just going to do like that. Go. And then countersink. Yeah, so for something like this, when you have a screw hole this close to the edge of wood, the end of the grain, don't use self-sinking screws. Don't do that. And also, similarly, when you're drilling or screwing into end grain like this, pre-drill it. For the love of grapefruit, please pre-drill it. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be like the workflow. I'm going to have there are 8 holes, so I'm going to do this 8 times. I'm going to pre-drill first. Having, of course, placed the workpiece accurately the way I want it. Pre-drilled. I'm going to apply some glue. Apply some glue on this to this. And wipe off the excess glue. And that's it. I'm going to do that 7 more times and we're done. And again, it doesn't have to be super pretty, so I haven't actually removed the glue on the inside here. I can easily cut that off afterwards with a sharp chisel. But if this was supposed to be clean or even worse, lacquered, I would definitely recommend removing excess glue with a little bit of water. So that was one. Let's get the other one. Oh dear, oh dear. And there we go. Now all I have to do is put a spacer in between them. And I've been thinking about that. My initial sketch just had something like here and or here like so that it's framed, but it doesn't have to be very solid. So I'm actually thinking that maybe all I need is to put one here, put them on a stick like this. I think that might be all I need, and there's a reason why I'm thinking of both keeping it simple and also keeping it up like at the top here. And that's because when you do stuff like music, and there's cables and adapters and USB hubs and I don't know what else everywhere, so having this area down here be sort of free, I think is a good idea. And I already took a measurement, so I know that the distance or the width of this is going to be 25 centimeters. Like that. Maybe just make a decision on these and say what's up and what's down. Like that. Just get rid of any excess glue down here in that. There, so that's up, and the same here. See that? The glue just comes off in this little booger. I'm not going to try and nail or screw this because it's too thin. I'm just going to glue it. So I'm going to get a couple of clamps. Like I said, just square it a little bit. And there we are. Hopefully the next thing that you're going to see is my Wii music laptop sitting on top of this.